Labor Talks was John DeRozier, recorded at Chippewa Valley Community Television in Eau Claire, Wisconsin.
Good day and welcome to Labor Talks. Today's very special guest is Jack Connell, who is still the president of the Greater West Central Area Labor Council. Now, we first interviewed Jack exactly 1 year ago today. In fact, that was our very first Labor Talks program. So, we are delighted to have Jack back to Labor Talks. And Jack, welcome back.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, John. Thanks for having me. And I didn't think it was been a year already. So
Time flies when you're having fun.
yes, it does.
Okay, now let's see here. Since we last talked, I've interviewed several locally elected officials, a couple of business people, and not one of them has had much good to say about Act 10. What do you think that tells us?
Well, I think it tells us that Act 10 didn't do what they had promised that it was going to do. It was a bill that was conceived to bust unions, and it had very little effect on reducing taxes, but it did have a tremendous effect on reducing wage and benefit packages for all public employees in the state of Wisconsin.
That's just about what people on the city council, county board, etc. have told me, including a couple of local businessmen. They like having something positive to deal with. And Act 10 certainly didn't provide anything positive. Shouldn't labor be running candidates for local government? It seems to me that we have some great people in office, but they could use some help.
Yeah, in parts of our jurisdiction, our jurisdiction runs from Clark County along Highway 29 and 94 corridor down to the St. Croix River. And in parts of our jurisdiction, we do have some progressive groups that are running progressive candidates for county board seats and for city council and municipal seats, and as well as school board seats. And we are having some success getting working families' voices heard on local levels of government. And we do have a long way to go, but we have made huge inroads in the last 5 years, and we do plan on expanding on that too. This coming spring election, all the county board seats are up in our 9-county jurisdiction, so we will be very busy. We will be doing candidate questionnaires to all the candidates in those 9 counties for all the county board seats. Also, there will be quite a few school board seats that we will be looking at, as well as municipality and city council seats and races. So we will have a very busy spring, just trying to find out which are the candidates that will support the issues that are important to working families in West Central Wisconsin.
Do you think we'll be asking some pointed questions, that is, questions that carry some weight of these candidates?
We will, and in the past we've asked questions directly that relate to having just cause in employee handbooks. Just cause is a way for it makes the employer take certain steps if they want to discipline or terminate an employee. And it's a very big piece. It's a federal-wide concept that's been used for many, many years, and it works. And that's one of the questions that we always ask. We also ask about privatization of public works and the things that public employees do. We feel that public employees can do the job better and cheaper than a contractor that comes in, and we care about the end result. We care about our clients, our customers, and our kids in our schools, and so we do a better job at a reduced cost to the taxpayers. So,
Now, just out of curiosity, are we going to start looking for candidates who to run for the state legislature who support our point of view, and that will lead us into our next question concerning civil service.
We also actually this June we will be doing candidate questionnaires for the state races. All 99 of the assembly seats will be up for election, as well as half of the 33 Senate seats. So we will have we will actually bring candidates in from our jurisdictional area, and all will be invited. Hopefully they'll all show up, and we do ask them questions about prevailing wage. We are going to ask them about what's happening with currently. There's a bill that they're working on that they want to get published by Monday, which is the 28th, to repeal parts of the civil service statutes, which have been in effect for 100 years, and it affects state employees. The governor came out yesterday and said that, oh, this is a good thing. I would support repeal of the civil service rights that state employees currently have. That statute that came into effect and the rules that apply to that eliminated cronyism in state government, where if you knew somebody, you could hire them at any cost, and didn't matter what their background was or education. If that was your buddy, yeah, we'll get you a state job. We'll get you a state job. Civil service rules took that and said, no, we want the best and brightest. And the governor, in his comment today, said this allows us to hire the best and the brightest. Well, it doesn't. Civil service system works very, very well, and it was intended to get the best candidates for public service positions. Now, if you repeal that and you go back to the buddy-buddy system, what are you going to get? We have a hard time currently hiring good employees, qualified employees, for public service positions. And it's not just at the state level, it's at the county level and at the city level. We're seeing it all across the state because people are choosing not to take public service jobs because, number one, Act 10. The benefit package was cut, you pay more for your health insurance, you pay more for your pension, and the wages aren't keeping up. If you're a state employee, in the next 2-year biennium, your wage adjustment is 0 and 0. So there is no wage adjustment for if you're a state employee. And we all know what the rate of inflation is. It's at 2.6% or whatever. But going 2 years, actually it'll be three. We'll go 3 years without a wage adjustment for state employees. And you're not going to hire good people, and you're not going to keep good people if you don't pay them, because there's too much competition. We can go across the river and make more money, or we can go someplace else.
If you're looking for glaring examples of what Jack is talking about, and I hope to God he agrees with me on this, but if you take a look at the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, how that's been run, they ran that right into the ground. As a matter of fact, they started it on the ground and they put it underground. These clowns don't know what they're doing, point blank. If you take a look at who's in charge of the DNR, for crying out loud. My God, a joke, just simply a joke.
Well, and to.
I was just getting warmed up, Jack.
Oh, okay. Well, I just want to add one more thing about the civil service repeal that they're talking about. They want to have more control with the Department of Administration on hiring. So, no. Oh yeah, but that's a division of the governor's office. So they're taking all of the control and putting it into the Department of Administration, so that the governor's office will directly control more state government. We're losing local control, and departments are going to lose control over hiring and firing processes.
I wonder if Governor Walker has learned anything at all by running for president, and if he looks at his approval ratings, which are less than 0.5%. Good God, Governor, haven't you learned a thing yet?
Am
I putting you on the spot, Jack?
No, you're not, because I saw that in Wisconsin he had a 39% approval rate across people just in Wisconsin. So, and that's probably the lowest it's been since he took office. Some of you brought up the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, which has had 3 audits in a row that were where there was blatant lack of oversight for the entire operation, and that has to stop. That's a waste of taxpayers' money. I'm a public employee, but I'm also a taxpayer, and it hurts me when I see money squandered by this corporation, as they call it, now it's run by Stephen Ayers, I think his name is. He's the CEO of the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, and Senator Weinhaut, who represents this district, she was on the audit committee that did the interview, or that audited the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, I think 2 weeks ago. So that's go on to Wisconsin Eye. It's a very interesting conversation that they had, and the lack of answers, and not being forthright with some of the questions that the audit bureau, or that the audit committee asked, and it's another black mark on Wisconsin, and it's a black mark on Walker.
Now, what is the Labor Council doing to stay in touch with our locally elected officials, and could we be doing more?
We can always do more. I do have conversations with Dana Walks occasionally. I've had a couple conversations with Senator Weinhaut as far as for statewide issues. We need to be more involved with the local politics. I did have a conversation a couple weeks ago with Catherine Emanuel, who is on Eau Claire City Council. We had a nice chat for about 20, 30 minutes. As she was walking by my house, I was sitting out in the backyard and flagged her down, and we had a lengthy conversation about some issues. And it's good to have the dialogue. Some of the things that I didn't even have an opportunity to speak to her about was the parking ramp in downtown Eau Claire. I supported putting the next addition on it, because we'll never do that as cheap as we can do it today.
Correct.
And the downtown is expanding. It will get busier and busier, and now is the time to make that commitment to put the fourth level on that parking ramp. So these are some of the things, but it's not just me, and it's not just organized labor that has to do it. Everyone has to do it. All working families need to be in touch with their county board supervisor, their city council member, whether it be at large or their district, and let them know what they think about the issues that are really going on. There's another TIF district that was tentatively approved by the city council recently that will provide more funding for some more expansion down in the downtown area, which is good. And that expansion is jobs, and those are good jobs. So we need to have those conversations, but it's not just organized labor that needs to do it. Everyone needs to do it. And you need to talk to the people on your school board, because there's a lot of stuff happening with school boards, and how school boards and school districts treat their employees, which makes it which has an effect, positive and negative, or a negative effect on how the students are being taught. You treat teachers well, they're going to stay and they're going to do a very good job. You don't treat teachers well, they're going to leave, and what's going to follow them may not be as desirable of an employee. So, you get what you pay for. You really do.
Now, I know State Senator Weinhaut, I know State Representative Walks, and I know Catherine Emanuel, who was on the city council. They're all very bright people. That's my comment right there. Now, neither party is in what you would call great shape right now. That's my opinion. Maybe you disagree. but we know that the party of Walker does not have labor's best interest in mind, and this includes all working families here in this area or in the state of Wisconsin. So that leaves the Democrats, and they could be doing a bit better as well. So what should the Labor Council be doing to get union members more involved with the Democratic Party, and should we even consider getting more involved?
When our organization looks at candidates, we don't care if there's an R in front of it or a D in front of it. We look at the candidate and how they voted on issues that affect working families, or how they will vote on, and what issues they will support, if they will support the values of working families in this state. So we really don't care if it's a Republican or a Democrat. We need to have candidates that are going to support our issues, period. And we are a nonpartisan organization. We do tend to support and recommend Democratic candidates, because right now that's the best that we got. There's not a whole lot of Republicans out there that are looking at working family issues. The repeal of civil service statute that we were just discussing, that's another one. Prevailing wage, the repeal of partial repeal of prevailing wage, which is going to affect a lot of our brothers and sisters in the building trades. The right to work legislation, which is going to have a negative effect on union membership in this state eventually. It's going to take a while for that to take effect, but that will have a negative effect on union membership and density in this state. And all of this is to defund unions so that they take away our voice. The most powerful thing that organized labor had was a voice. We had a large group of people that supported working family issues, and we pushed that and pushed that and pushed that, and we're still going to do it. But it's the party in charge right now doesn't want us to have any of those perks. They don't want us to be able to get together a couple busloads of people, bring them down to the Capitol and talk to a group of legislators. They don't want us to do that. They want Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce to say, well, this is what we want and this is what you'll do. They want corporations to set the policies when working families should be setting the policies and the standards for all of the state.
That just about sums up the whole thing. Is there anything else you'd like to add that I didn't ask?
The biggest thing is that get registered to vote. It's the most important thing you can do. If you've got a gripe, if you've got a complaint, you can't really say much unless you're registered to vote and you go and exercise that right. It's important that you do it. There's spring elections coming up. There'll be another Supreme Court race, maybe two. We know of one for sure this spring. So that'll be very important, as well as county board, city council, school district, and municipal races. And next fall we have another big election. So we'll have all the assembly and half of the Senate is coming up.
Mm-hmm. Well, that about sums everything up. This will be my last Labor Talks program as the host. Health issues are getting the best of me. I am proud that Jack agreed to be our first guest, and I'm equally proud that he's here for my last program, because that lets us go out on a positive, high note. Jack, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me, John.
For being here.
Yep, appreciate it.
Now, Lori Gruber, the secretary of our Greater West Central Area Labor Council, will take over effective October 1st. I know Lori will do a great job. Her first guest will be me. God help her. No, she will do a very good job. It has been an honor and a pleasure doing Labor Talks. It really has been. I'm not just saying that. There are several reasons why I've enjoyed doing this. First, the audience. You've been great. You've had several opportunities to run me out of town. You haven't done that. I'm still here, and I definitely appreciate it. So does my wife, most of the time. Also, we've had some positively wonderful, intelligent people on this show. Jack is one of them. And I really appreciated them. They were smart, positively wonderful, and again, intelligent. And they were friendly and cooperative. Finally, the crew here at CVC TV have been great. They're a darn good bunch of people. They really, really are. They are skilled, and they certainly help to keep Labor Talks as a friendly, informal program. Please contact your state legislators and let them know that CVC TV deserves revenues from the state. And don't forget, we will continue Labor Talks.
Chippewa Valley Community Television is made possible by continuing community support. If you would like to volunteer or make a donation, you can contact us by calling 715-839-5067 or on the web at www.cvctv.org.